Now, basically what this is first of all, it's nothing perverted. Let's just go ahead and kill that. Basically what this is, I am a fan of fixing society. However, it's going to be tough to fix society in the way that needs to be fixed. So, my question to all of you is what would you do to fix a portion of society? And today, as Banks put on the Facebook page, what would you do to fix our educational system? I personally feel that since I was in an educational system, meaning K through 12. So I want to give some boundaries there. Now, when I grew up, completely different situation. You know, I'm pretty sure when Banks and Marcus J grew up, completely different situation as far as educational. However, now I am not a fan of these standardized tests that children have to take, because somebody has deemed that tests are the only requirement for a child to learn. Or you're forcing teachers to teach by the test. So what are teachers really doing? They're teaching your child to memorize instead of learn. So I have a problem with that. And basically, if you have any suggestions, you hit us up on the Facebook page or give us a call at
804-447-0601.
Now, if you are an educator and you would like to call in, I'm cool with that. If you don't want to tell us that you're an educator, I'm cool with that. But, I want to hear some opinions, And I'll start with Banks first, and then we'll go to Jay, and then I'll give my opinion, and hopefully other people will give their opinions in between. But how would you change the educational system that we currently have in Virginia right now? Banks, what are you thinking?
Bring back beatings in school. Bring them back. Bring back the beatings. I mean, come on now.
Only Banks.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we was gonna
but
be
seriously,
serious.
That's what.
As I say, I thought we were gonna be serious. He says, but seriously,
I'm dead serious.
So you really think that Carlton Jr. and I'm gonna call you out on this one. I'm gonna keep it real with you. If Carlton Jr. is in school wilding out, you all right with somebody busting his ass right there in the classroom?
Get him.
Hold on. Now, is Miss Banks cool with that too?
Probably so.
Probably.
Yeah.
You don't know?
I'm pretty sure.
But you don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, go on with what you think. You think we should be beating them in school?
You got kids in the system that aren't scared of the teachers, and then you have parents who are not ready to discipline the kids to handle what they were doing back at home. Plain and simple. You have parents who are also younger than us but have kids 18, 19 years old. They were kids themselves when they had their kids. So there was that lack of discipline for them when they were growing up. So other than that, what else is there to say?
All right.
Well, I look at it like that. Well, before I do that, I another hit on the Facebook page. This is still our friend in Jersey City who's been listening to us the whole show. She's got a lot to say. I'm only going to kind of pick out a couple of quick things. Teachers need to be evaluated on a yearly basis. That's one thing that she says. Not every child learns at the same pace. She says a lot. I'm not going to get into it all, but I agree with that. And she also says that she's not a fan of standardized testing, which is kind of where Big Rube started. I can't stand standardized testing, really, because like you said before, Big Rube, it teaches the kids how to memorize, but it doesn't teach them how to learn. Anytime you got a kid in third grade that wants to check their math with a calculator, that's not a good look. I sit down with Mama J and help her with her math homework on occasion. Generally, that's something that Miss J does, but on the times that I have sat down with her and went through it with her, with the math homework, she was looking. I mean, she did it by mind, but wanted to check it by calculator. And I remember that it was taboo for us. Like, you couldn't have a calculator.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't even own one. You know what I mean? I do like the fact that, I do like the idea, I should say, of testing the teachers more regularly. But I also think that the teachers should get some sort of pay for performance, meaning the good teachers get paid more. The not so good teachers, they get paid less and eventually get phased out. But here's the problem. Mm-hmm. When we were growing up, a lot of our classmates wanted to be teachers when they grew up. I don't know that a lot of these kids these days are aspiring to be teachers. You know what I mean? And the people who end up being teachers, a lot of times, and I don't, Miss J is an educator. I think I've said that on the air before. I won't get into specifically what she does, but she is an educator. And a lot of people end up falling into education. They don't strive to become teachers. They're not that 13-year-old boy who says, I want to go be a teacher so that I can mentor the kids that are coming behind me. They're not going to be that 15-year-old girl who says, my mom and my grandma were teachers. I want to be a teacher myself. A lot of people, end up going to school for other things, and then they go back to school to get their degree to become a teacher. So there isn't the passion there that you may have seen when we were coming up. A lot of it is a job. You know what I mean? And when it's your job, quote, and I'm using air quotes, when it's your job to lead children, but there's no passion behind it, I think you will lose a whole lot in the translation.
I agree. I have friends who are educators, and we actually talked about it. We actually talked about it, a couple of days ago. I remember in 5th grade, and the high school I went to the middle school I went to in Petersburg, and for Thanksgiving we learned how to churn butter. And the funny thing about it is, churning butter, what does that teach you? But
upper body strength?
No. And see, that's why Banks went to that messed up school. But churning butter is that's how they made butter back in the day for Thanksgiving.
That's the term, churning butter?
Exactly. But when you're in the 5th grade, Banks, you just think everything comes from the store.
No, it didn't.
Now, I know it didn't. But to actually sit there and do it, have you ever churned butter?
Didn't have to, but I did chase some hogs.
Have you ever churned butter?
No, I have not.
Exactly. So until you get that experience, you don't know how it was for them to do it back in the day. And see, that was when I was in 5th grade. And I remember this 20-some years later. Primarily because the teacher I had went out of the box to teach us. Whereas now, there's no creativity. And then if you have creativity, you really have to make sure you're towing that line with the book to make sure that they learn the book so they can pass this test, so we can get accredited, so we don't lose money. And furthermore, why is education losing money anyway? Of all the things that gets cut in a budget, education? Really? Seriously. I don't understand. In Virginia, we pay a 5% sales tax. I'm sorry. In Chicago, I believe it's like 12 or 13%. And they have better schools than us. Wow. How about we raise our sales tax 2%? So we can make sure our schools are decent?